Hey, what's up? Avram and Nikki here, just heading out to lunch and wanted to shoot a quick video for you. Thought it'd be cool to shoot it in the car on the way and just share with you some really cool stuff. You know, we were inspired to make this video by somebody who posted on a thread that I put up on my birthday saying some stuff about, well, you know what, like law of attraction, I love it, love the principles, I've been doing this stuff for 6 years, but it doesn't work for me. What am I missing? What is the secret ingredient? Tell me, because I'm ready to give up. That's at least how I read it. Maybe that's the truth, maybe not. But what we want to share with you in this video is 3 different ways to go from being a law of attraction and personal development junkie to being someone who's creating massive results in their life using these principles. Because guess what? The movie The Secret left out some really important stuff that you need to know.
Yes.
I'm pumped up, obviously. I'm pumped up, obviously. So where do you want to start, Nikki?
Well, for one thing, I'm just going to say that we know how to speak to this in so many ways, and it's a topic that's dear to my heart because I've been there. Like, I've been the self-development junkie, I've been the spiritual seeker, the eternal spiritual seeker, and you know, I thought that if I just took all these workshops and visualized the right way and, you know, all these different things, and I would have the results that I wanted, and I didn't until I knew these things that we're going to share today.
Yeah, 3 things.
3 things.
3 things.
That are essential.
Totally.
Yes.
I mean, you can see like remnants of our past right now in my tie-dye t-shirt, right? Like this is where we came from, right? And like this is where we are now, like driving luxury vehicle, living the life of our dreams, actually being able to go out and have lunch whenever you want to, because before it wasn't even an option.
Right.
But it did start somewhere, and it started with this first thing that we wanted to share with you. And as we go through them, they're going to build on each other, and I think you're going to realize what you've been missing if you've been struggling to get law of attraction to work. So the first thing that we really did, and this is kind of like it's just an interesting subject to talk about.
Yes.
But the first thing we did was like we actually chose to have wealth and chose to have abundance come into our life versus what we were doing, which was like hoping and praying that it would somehow magically manifest and come.
Yes.
Come.
Yeah. So when you're focusing on attracting into your reality, you know, you have to look at where you're actually coming from, you know, and where your energy is coming from. And bottom line, step number 1, you have to choose it. And that sounds so simple, and yet it's so profound. And here's how you know whether or not you're choosing something, is whether or not you have the results that you want.
Right.
And that can be hard to hear, but the sooner you're willing to face that truth, you can skip a lot of the, you know, waiting, hoping, praying, wishing, not feeling like you can have it. You know, when you brush your teeth in the morning, you can't have clean teeth unless you choose to brush your teeth in the morning.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a choice to brush your teeth, and it really is that simple. Now, you might be thinking, oh my God, that may seem to invalidate, you know, all of the frustration and all the stuff that I'm feeling and all, you know, all the turmoil that I'm going through. I would say that it's not invalidating that. For me, when I heard that it's all just a choice, it actually liberated me to choose. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't have to do all this, like, you know, I'm just going to say it, mental masturbation and emotional masturbation. Like, what can I actually choose right now? And you choose the money, you choose the vibration that you want first, and then it shows up. Yeah, well, what's really cool about this is, like, I think it builds into like the second thing that we have to share about all of this is like when you're oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. I'm already thinking about food right now, and yes.
like we're not even there.
I know step number 2.
So yeah, so we'll just jump into step number 2,
yeah.
Which is actually like taking action, which is funny because most people think, well, if I'm choosing it, aren't I like already taking action? Oh, here's what I was gonna say,
okay.
And this builds into the second thing about taking action. Some people think like law of attraction is this like hands-off process,
right?
Like that you just like be like an energy and
yeah.
vibrate and stuff, and it's like, okay, cool, now the universe, God, whatever, it's gonna like deliver it to me. But it's not a hands-off process. That's why you have to choose it and choose to become a part of it. And what's the best way to do that? You actually like step into the process and you start taking action. So what would you say to speak to that piece and what we did to really start changing like our results? Right.
Well, I think, you know, this is kind of a weird thing, but I know for me, coming from a very spiritual, metaphysical background, I almost wanted to prove that how powerful the principles were. If I could just sit there and manifest it through energy, then I could prove that this stuff was real. You know, because we're in this world that's trying to prove that none of this stuff is real, you know, it's just a bunch of hogwash, woo, new age kind of stuff. And I believed in it so strongly, and I was like, if I could just prove that I don't have to do anything from this reality, then, like, you know, I don't know what my fantasy world was about. You know, the world's gonna change or something like that. And so that's maybe a different answer than you were expecting. You remember, I can just say that that's where I was coming from. That I really wanted to almost prove that, you know, this stuff worked. And I thought that if I put some elbow grease and sweat into it, that somehow I would be, like, you know, going against the concepts. I know that sounds weird and delusional, and it is, but that's where I was coming from. And I think a lot of spiritual people have that going on. They're like, you know, there's almost like this rejection of, you know, I'm over here on my meditation cushion, and that is the matrix reality over there.
I'm gonna be over here. I'm
gonna be over here. And by removing yourself, and it takes so many judgments actually to remove yourself. You're actually, it's like there's that story, I don't know if it's a biblical story, but it's about, like, people praying to God for help, and then there's a boat that comes by, and the person's like, well, no, I'm asking for God to help me. And it's like, you can take that, I think that's more of a Christian story, but you can take that and turn it into a spiritual New Age, you know,
well, the person won't take the life raft.
They won't take the life
because
raft.
It's not God, but it's like, well, God was working through the life raft.
And exactly, and a lot of spiritual, well, but it's not the universe, it's not the crystals and the magic that I you know, ordered, you know, and that, so one thing to take action, it's like, remove your filters of what you think it looks like, and let go of what you refuse to do for your dreams. Like, let go of those judgments about what you refuse to do, because that, yes, the being on the meditation cushion is definitely, man, that really enhances what we do.
But we have to take the action.
But we have to take the action as well, and that's part of the choice. So it's like, if you're saying, well, I'm choosing to have money in my life, but then you're a life coach and you're never going to make a phone call, and you're never going to ask for money for your services. And
you're a shut-in, and you live at your house with your cats, and you never leave, and nobody knows you exist. Good luck attracting what you want.
Exactly. You're not creating enough avenues for the universe to bring stuff to you.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I made this metaphor when I did that class a few years ago, and I talked about receiving, and it's like, if you're an island out on the off the coast of some mainland, and there's 0 bridges to get to the island, it's going to take a lot of work for somebody to come find you and give you anything, right? They're going to have to, like, build a boat or swim across the channel to get to you. Like, most people are not going to do that, right? But the more bridges that you have, the more paths of discovery exist, the different ways the universe can bless you, the different ways that people around you can bless you, and more experiences can flood in, right? That's part of taking action. It's like, you've got to build the bridges. You've got to be out there in the field, creating ways for you to get paid, for you to attract more abundance and stuff. And I think that leads into the third thing. The third thing,
yes.
Right? And it's like, here's the piece that people get stuck on, right? The third piece is actually really being honest with where you're at. A book that helped me really start becoming honest about where I'm at and where we're at is the 10X Rule by this guy named Grant Cardone, who talks about how, you know, success and creating results in life, you know, most people grossly underestimate the amount of action and hard work and energy that goes into creating something. That's why most people are like, well, I thought I did all the work, but I didn't really get what I wanted. But the truth is, you didn't actually put in what was required to do it in that moment. How else would you speak to that piece of really being honest with where you are?
Well, for one thing, when it comes to being a self-help junkie or a law of attraction junkie, and you've done the workshops and maybe you've read every single book there is out there, you know, a lot of people think that is the substitution for that in itself is the creation. So it's like, if you know you want to build a house and you go out to all these workshops to learn how to build a house and you get a bunch of tools, you're not going to leave that workshop thinking, where's my house? It's not built. It's like, now you have the tools to build the house. So a lot of people mistake all these concepts and law of attraction concepts for the actual creation, versus like, oh, now I have a bunch of tools in my toolbox to go create, but it's not the actual. You can't be like, well, now I have the tools, like, they're sitting in my pocket, where's the house? You know what I'm saying? You know, that's one thing, because I think that's, if you're just willing to be honest with yourself on that level, it's like, okay, have I truly applied the tools that I've learned at these workshops? and maybe, you know what, be willing to question everything. Question the tools, question yourself. Like, you know, for me, when somebody said, well, it's just a choice, and I really allowed myself to just sit with that for a bit, it made me face a lot of my excuses, and it was very uncomfortable. But man, did it create so much, I mean, it creates so much freedom.
Right.
You know, so it's like, how bad do you want freedom? How bad do you want freedom? And I'm not just talking about financial freedom, I'm talking about that internal freedom. And if you're really willing to be honest with yourself, you will be willing to take responsibility for yourself on a totally different level, and it actually will be a relief and a release. So to me, this being honest and real with yourself can actually be a tremendously healing process. It's a process of coming back to the real you, and removing, whether you want to call it ego or false beliefs. Like, if you're just willing, when I was like, oh, you know what, I'm not choosing money, and I'm not choosing to really create my life, and I am choosing, what am I choosing? I'm choosing to be a victim of my circumstances. And just being willing to sit with that, it created so many openings for, like, you know, law of attraction to work for me, for all these sort of concepts about asking questions and bringing things into my life. Like, that's when things started to work like magic. Because if you're, you know, actually choosing victim or choosing this other stuff and not choosing money, because if money's not in your bank account,
You're not choosing it.
You're not choosing it. Sorry to say, but you're not choosing it.
That's being honest.
That's being honest. So, you know, when I was just willing to go, wow, this is really what, and I'm choosing that, and I had this moment of sad. People are avoiding. So many people are doing these workshops to avoid looking at what they're actually choosing, so they can keep telling themselves that they're choosing one thing when they're really choosing another thing.
Boom.
So if you're willing to get past that, you're going to stop putting money into all these workshops, you know, so that you can stand in now and somebody, you know, another teacher can tell you, oh yeah, you know, here's this landscape, you know, you're doing, you're as long as you do this, it's going to all be okay, you know. You'll actually be able to move forward, and you'll stop being a junkie, and you'll start creating a life that you love.
So that being said, we appreciate you for watching our video, checking out our 3 things that will make a huge difference in you using the law of attraction to become a creator of magnitude. Comment below if you got something special out of this video, or you had like that light bulb moment. What was it, that one thing that I said, or that Nikki said, that actually like made things snap for you, that was like, okay, I get it. Maybe this is the missing piece I've been looking for a long time. We want to know. And if you got something, if you think like you got a friend that would love this video too, make sure you go ahead and share it with them. So again, I'm Avram. This is Nikki. We're gonna go have some lunch right now, and we appreciate you watching this video and hanging out with us for the journey here. If you want to know more about what we do, what created this Lexus, what created our ability to go out any time of the day, get a grab of food, you know, just do what we want on our own time. There's also a link around this video somewhere that you can check out what we do. We can help you do the same. Anything else?
That's it.
Peace out, my friends. See you next time.
Bye.
Sweet.
Right.
That was an epic video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.